Hi, I'm Jill Collins, and today we're unlocking the secrets of divine feminine energy with Barbara Von Schmeling. From a seventh degree black belt master to 21 times world champion, Barbara's journey is nothing short of inspirational. We're diving deep into practical habits that not only awaken your divine feminine essence, but also harness it to create magnetic attraction and deeper connections. So let's ignite your feminine energy and discover how you can transform your relationships starting now.
We think being feminine is just maybe putting some makeup on and wearing beautiful clothing, and now we're it. But it's not really what it is. We have so many other expressions of femininity that we can bring into our own being to feel more complete and feel more whole. We give so much. Like we want everyone else's needs to be met before our own. We have been conditioned to do that. We have to fit into this mold of achievement and success. Feminine energy is more about love and nurturing, caring, empathy, connection, flow, beautiful energy that we all have, but sometimes we disconnect from.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We're here once again at Jill Collins Connections, and I am so excited to have with me today Barbara Von Schmeling. Barbara is the queen of feminine energy. She is simply divine, and I just wanted to share her with you all because I think you're going to learn something really awesome today. So, Barbara, welcome to the show. I'm so excited.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. A lot of times people ask about there are a lot of people who know what divine feminine energy is and masculine. We kind of go, okay, we think we know what the stereotypes are, kind of what we think it is. But really, what is it exactly? A lot of times women will think, I'm at work and I'm in my masculine. I've got to be tough and I've got to work hard. And then at home, I can't turn it off and I can't just be in my feminine. I feel like I'm always pushing and driving, just driving this everything, having to control everything. What is feminine energy and why would we care about it anyway? What is it about?
Well, you mentioned the masculine energy and the feminine, so I'm going to maybe explain and compare a little bit both of them. Every human being has both of those energies, right? Like we all have it. Doesn't matter if we're men or women, we have both of those energies. But the amount that we have or the amount that we tap into is what changes how we show up in the world. So, for example, masculine energy has a lot to do with taking action, with moving forward, with achieving, setting goals. And I feel, and I'm sure you might feel like that too, that as a woman, we have been bombarded to actually connect to that masculine energy. We have been conditioned to do that. We have to fit into this mold of achievement and success. And that is all related to masculine energy. Feminine energy, on the other hand, is more about love and nurturing and caring and empathy and connection, communication. So they are pretty much the opposites, but the world that we live in today really recognizes a lot the things that we accomplish through masculine energy. And sometimes I think also people have a misconception of what feminine energy is. We think being feminine is just maybe putting some makeup on and wearing beautiful clothing, and now we're it. But it's not really what it is. And also, some people confuse feminine energy with maybe sensual and sexual energy, right? Which that is one of the representations and expressions of feminine energy, but it's not the only one. We have so many other expressions of femininity that we can bring into our own being to feel more complete and feel more whole. So the feminine energy really is that juicy, fun, flow, beautiful energy that we all have, but sometimes we disconnect from.
Wow. Well, okay, so that's great because I feel like sometimes I know in career and like I said earlier, turning it off when we go home and trying to be more feminine do we feel like do you think that sometimes it feels like we're not going to get anything done? How can we still be effective and feel like maybe what's one step of the first step we could take to feel that? And then also like, is it okay to be feminine? And are we still going to be able to accomplish things? And are we going to be still strong in our power?
Oh, that is a great question. Uh, I believe when we overly connect to either one, we're not aligned, right? We're not in our own nature because we all have a sweet spot where we sit that we need maybe a certain amount of masculine, a certain amount of feminine energy, and it's different for all of us. So each one of us need to find what feels authentic to us, right? Maybe you need more feminine energy than me for you to feel good, and what I mean with that is that to feel that you are still accomplishing things, but you're not getting depleted and exhausted and tired, and you can still enjoy it and you can still be in flow with your own life. So finding that harmony, right? Where you can have a certain amount of masculine, where you get things done and you enjoy the success and you set your goals, and also the feminine energy that comes in to make you enjoy all that. So, uh, if I can tell you, this is why I love this work is because I also have this side of me that yes, like if I'm going to work out, I'm going to do it. I train martial arts. So that is huge for me. The masculine energy is so strong in martial arts, owning a business, running a household, having a child, like all that. I can use my masculine energy to be able to do the things that I have to do. But then I need to bring that feminine energy so I can be the person that I have to be. So I usually say the masculine is about doing, the feminine is about being, right? It's or you being more in that state of flow and ease and grace instead of just getting things done. So if you can combine those two, that's the recipe for, I think, happiness.
I love that, I love that, and I wanna talk about relationships and dating for sure in a minute, and how does that work? Because I know this is a big struggle for a lot of people about attracting men who are masculine when we're thinking we're in our feminine, but maybe we're not, and how do we tap into that? But what would you say is the first step in awakening our divine feminine energy, especially for those, people who may women who may feel disconnected from it?
Well, I think anything starts with awareness. We need to notice, right? If we don't notice, then we can change. So that awareness comes for me when I feel tired and I feel like, oh my gosh, like this is draining me. This is exhausting. That is a sign for me that I'm overly connecting to my masculine because I'm out of alignment with myself. Right.
Mm.
But also sometimes I feel like, gee, I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm not getting anything done. That means I need to connect a little more to my masculine. But coming back to your question, uh, what can we do? There are a few things. Actually, I wrote a guide. Maybe I can share with you if you want to share with your
I
audience. It's a
will, I'll put it,
book
yeah, we'll put the link
guide.
in the show notes below.
Yeah, yeah. It's 7 sacred secrets of uh I call this 7 sacred goddess gifts. That's really what it is, right? So those are like little ways that you can connect to your divine feminine energy and to your goddess energy, like I call. So that energy, for example, connection is an incredible way to stimulate your feminine energy. And connection can be with yourself, with nature, with others, right? Or sensuality, you being aware of your senses and connected to your senses, or just really just slowing down. That's one way when you slow down. Just notice when you have a meal, if you eat really fast, you cannot really taste it, you cannot really enjoy. So when you slow down, you can enjoy more and you can taste more and you can smell it and you can feel it. So that's why maybe taking a bath is an amazing tool for you to connect to your feminine energy because you get to relax, to feel on your body, bring it all to your senses. You maybe smell something delicious or you eat something delicious, right? And you watch maybe something beautiful. So all those things that help you to connect to your senses are a way for you to actually connect more to the feminine energy. Uh, Using your creativity, like allowing yourself to create, that is the energy of creation, right? Feminine energy is the energy of creation. I mean, we create life, we create so many other things, and anything that we can do creatively will help you also to connect to that energy. There are a few other things, but I mean, I can share with you and you can share with your audience. I think that would be
Oh, that'd
beautiful.
be awesome. I love that, and we will share that because the steps are always helpful, and I think that'll get a lot of women on their way who are considering this and looking at what they can pivot and that they can shift and tweak in their lives, and I think this is really everything, and it for me a few years ago, really discovering this has been so significant for me and such a big game changer, so I'm grateful to have been working with you and talking with you on this as well. I think a lot of women too struggle with this feeling of self-love and acceptance. And so what would be some practical advice that you could give to start people on a path towards healing and self-discovery? Is this something that is in your program that there is a program, I'm going to drop it in the show notes too, about what you're offering in April in Orlando, the Warrior Goddess uh, uh, group, the program. It's going to be amazing. And so tell us a little bit about that and how we can do that.
Well, how can I? Let me see. I, yeah.
Self
Yeah,
acceptance. Yeah, just this feeling of like I'm okay. There's
I
nothing
think
wrong with
we're
me.
yeah, I think we're very critical towards ourselves. starting with that, we criticize how we look, we criticize how we act. We look ourselves in the mirror, we find everything wrong with our bodies and with the way we are. We want it to be different. I mean, I think I was actually looking at some older pictures when I was doing something for Valentine's Day for my husband, and we've been together for almost 18 years. So I went back 18 years, and I'm like looking for like all these photos, and I'm looking, I'm like, gee, like my body was like really cute, you know. But back then, I thought it was like, oh, this is not good enough, and then now I'm looking at myself. I mean, of course, my body changed, especially after having a child and all that. But now I have so much more love and appreciation for even everything that is happening right here, because I think that comes with maturity, right? You you want to start loving yourself better. So one of the things that I sometimes tell my ladies, when you take care of you, when you take care of your body, it's almost like you're taking care of your own child, like, or you're taking care of someone that you love. So if you, I believe, right, we are put in this body for a reason, and we come into this life for a reason. So if I've been given this body, what can I do to take care of my body? And that can be, yes, I'm going to feed my body with the best foods that I can. I'm going to be mindful what I put in my body, what I put on my body. Especially now, we hear so much about like, oh, all this is toxic, and I mean, I'm doing this like heavy metal cleansing right now because I found that I had that on my body. So it's how do you become more aware of that and bring more gratitude and appreciation and care towards your own self? And when you start doing that, you start to love it even more, right? You
Mm,
start to be more in love with this body that you live in. And I think connecting to your physical body is maybe the beginning of you to started to even love yourself more and appreciate yourself more. But then, of
yeah.
course, what are the things that you tell yourself? Right? When you look in the mirror, can you find something beautiful instead of finding something that you want to be different? I mean, we all have those thoughts.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah. We wanna focus on what we can be grateful for, and the things that I don't know. Yes, my breasts are not as perky as before, but I did nurse my daughter for 2 years. Just that alone is a reason for me to love my breasts, right? Just an example.
Yeah, that's a really good
It's all like,
example.
"Oh, we complain," instead of appreciating, right?
Yeah, yeah, seeing the good in everything, and I think it's really is taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves like we would a child, a little girl that is ours, and seeing ourselves that way. And, I think for me, when I'm looking at self-acceptance and I'm learning this process of self-love, and I where it really came to me was when I'm seeing where I'm judging others, or I'm short with someone, or I have high expectations, or I'm getting frustration in outside sources or situations, I'm like, it's a mirror of where I am. And so I noticed for me, for example, it was about time recently, and I'm like, oh, I never have time. And I'm like, we know, why aren't they getting back with me quick enough? Why aren't these things happening? And it's like, whoops.
I
And I'm
do.
like noticing that I'm frustrated with myself all the time. And I'm like, because I'm like, why aren't you stepping up and doing what you said you were going to do 2 hours ago? So then we take it out on other people. And it's very finite. It's something we can really look at and observe. And so now when I'm seeing it's like, okay, Jill, little Jill, I see you need some time to play.
Mhm.
Okay, let's play for an hour. And then at 2 o'clock, we're going to go and do some work. Is that okay? Can you do that? Okay, great. All right, we're going to do that. And then it's giving ourselves love and acceptance that we want that time instead of pushing down that desire that we have, because we are in that when we're in our feminine, we do just want to flow. And sometimes we get so much in our masculine, right? Where we just want to go, 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 go. And then we burn out.
Oh,
And so this
awesome.
idea of it, my indicators, what I was trying to say is that my indicators when I'm seeing things that aren't right in the world or with other people, it's like, oh, okay, there's a mirror. I can see what's happening inside. And so what do I need to check in on instead of looking out at and blaming outside circumstances? And, so I love that you said that about really taking care of ourselves. And I think the other thing is giving ourselves permission to do that and not feel guilty, right? Because you've had children and when we are so busy, we say, "Oh, I don't deserve this time." Is that true?
Why not?
Gosh, I tell you, if you're gonna take the time to relax, and like I always say, if I wanna screw off and not work and at a certain time, I better damn enjoy it instead of feeling guilty the entire time I'm doing it. Yeah.
That's interesting because when we travel in the beginning, when we would travel without our daughter, I would feel like, I feel torn because now she's there and we're here and then I cannot enjoy it. And then one day I'm like, I'm not, if I cannot enjoy being here, but I'm still not with her, let me, like you said, I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm just going to have fun. And and one thing that I work a lot with the women is because we are so caring towards other people. We give so much. Like we want everyone else's needs to be met before our own. That's what we do as women. That's our nature, right? So how can I turn that love into myself a little more, right?
Mhm.
To me, and yes, I need that time. Okay, I do need to take a 20-minute shower today, not a 3-minute shower because I have so much to do, right? So just being mindful and creating some rituals and maybe some routines of things that you can do for yourself too.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. And so I'd love to know because we talked about dating, and I know so many of my viewers are in this space or even in relationship, and they may be struggling. It's I know for those in relationship, a lot of times I hear, gosh, I'm just tired of telling him what to do, and he won't do it. I just feel like I have to go and do it myself because he's never going to do it anyway. He won't just take out the garbage. He won't do this thing, or he won't follow what I'm saying. So it's up to me all the time. So we is it tell us about what the I'll start with the relationship and then we'll go to dating after, but in that particular example, is that a woman going into her masculine, and what's the impact of that, and how can we, adjust that and feel okay?
Well, control is more of, I would say, masculine energy. So we want to control the situation. That would be us connecting more to our masculine. But also, we uh, we heard a lot about toxic masculinity, right? And then I always say there's also toxic femininity because we both have ways that we don't show up in the healthy state of our own energy. So let's say I would say a toxic masculinity would be yes to be to control her, to be aggressive, right? That would be something that would be toxic if you are in that masculine energy. The toxic femininity would be to maybe be submissive, right? Or to maybe use more of your sexual energy to get what you want. That would be a way of using your femininity in a unhealthy way, I can say, right? So we're both guilty, right? We both use those energies sometimes the wrong way. So I would say that when talking about relationships, for example, Sergio and I, the less chores that we have for each other, the better. Like we do not have chores. Like I do not expect him to take out the garbage just because you mentioned that, right? Like he doesn't expect me to clean the house. Of course, someone needs to do it. For example, we are blessed enough that we have help in our home. And because we chose that, we chose to give away some of our income so we could that is a way for us to have a better relationship because there's less things for us to argue about. You know, it's just really allocating your funds and finding what you can do to create a better harmony in your home, right? So that's one thing that luckily, like I said, we're blessed that we choose to do that. But let's say, for example, last night I cooked dinner. We had some friends coming over. I cooked. And then at the end, he put the food, the leftovers in the refrigerator. Like we kind of work together. It's not, but I also do not demand or expect. It's just something that happens within the partnership. But I think everything happens like that when you give to the other person what's important to that person, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes we go like, okay, what am I not getting? Okay, he's not doing this. He's not, well, how about me? Am I doing it? Right. So looking at ourselves first. And then when you do things to meet your partner's needs, I mean, this is something that we do all the time. Like I know what's important to him, but you need to know what's important first. So for my husband, he's so simple. He only told me, okay, I only need two things. Don't put me in second place and make love to me every day. That was like his thing. Those two things. But the first one has like 100 million things. Don't put me in second place. It's a huge, there are many things that can happen on that one. Like, let's say if I do, he feels like he's second place. Like, many scenarios, you have many scenarios for that. So that's a harder one. Second,
Okay. Well,
but
I love that, and I think it's strategy, right? It's really negotiating and communication and asking for our needs, and also to check in and say, "Hey, how is that?" Because sometimes we assume, what is it that Tony Robbins always says in relationships? He says a lot of times we feel like we're giving everything, but we're not giving them what they need or what they
yep.
want. We're giving them what we think they want and we think they need.
Mhm.
And so then we go, "Well, why is nothing working?" Well, because maybe all the 5,000 things you thought you were doing were what I wanted, but I didn't want any of that. So maybe ask me, or I can and be open to letting me tell you what I need. And so I think that's really key. What you said there is just everybody's different. Every relationship's different. Every scenario is different. Even in every relationship we're in with different people, we show up differently. So it's a whole new strategy. We don't think, okay, now I've got it. This time it's going to be different because I've figured it out. Nope. It's a whole new ballgame with each person every time you start over with somebody new. So amazing. Thanks for that example. I love that. So as far as uh, dating, then, so here's the thing about femininity that I have heard repeatedly. I had a matchmaking service in Argentina several years ago, and I noticed a lot of my uh, uh, women clients were saying things like, "I have a business, I have a career, I'm successful. I just want to date someone and have a companion to see them on the weekends and to go on trips with and to go out to dinner with." That was a lot of times what it was. And then they kept saying, "But I want someone to be there for me." It was this. I often noticed that it was, I'm in control, but I want a man who also is in control. But I don't. But it's like there were two. There was no polarity, as we say, and maybe you can define polarity, and also how do we attract a man that we think we really want? Because I'm setting you up because you know it's going to be. I know it's going to be this thing where it's like, actually we need to change ourselves first. But what is that? How do we attract that man, and how do we show up that way? What happens with
I
polarity?
already gave the answer away, but that's kind of what it is.
I know, but I wanted to challenge and just see how we can deal with that, because a lot of us are sitting here going, "I'm great." I know everybody tells me, "Why are you still single?" Or people, which I like being single right now, but I mean, that's me personally, but I'm saying a lot of people are dealing with this, and they're successful women, they're amazing women, they're so, like, a lot of the people we know, we're in personal development, we've done a lot of work on ourselves and all these different things, and it's like, why is it not happening? Could it
So
be
from
feminine
my
energy?
yes, from my experience with the women that I work with, they approach relationship as a business.
Did you hear that, everyone? Get your pen and paper, rewind. That is legendary. We
Yeah.
approach relationships and dating as a business. Okay, guilty, I think. Let me hear what you have to say about that. Getting my paper out here, already on the 3rd page.
So let's say, for example, you are very successful. You manage a lot of people. You're in control of a lot of things. Now you come home and you bring that same person into your home or into your relationship. You need to relieve that archetype of yours at work, if that makes sense. Because if not, we're bringing the same energy. And when you come home or you come to your relationship with that energy, now your partner is, let's say, a masculine man, right? Now I mean, you repel each other. It's almost like the magnet, right? You're not attracting, just repelling each other because you're coming in with the same charge, you're coming in with the same frequency, the same vibration, the same energy. So once you shift yours, then it's going to be like, that's when, because most women, yes, they want to be in control, just like you said, but they also want to be taken care of. So there's a conflict. Like, yeah, I want you to take care of me when I want to be taken care of. No, you have to surrender, right? You have to. And sometimes we feel that if we surrender, we're going to be submissive, but that's not what it is. That surrender is just beautiful because surrendering is just really being vulnerable, being you. So that's why I always come back to authenticity. How do you find who you are authentically? And that is going to attract a partner, I believe, because if you just act, and most of us, we have been programmed and conditioned and domesticated, right? I can even say that, uh, to act a certain way, to do things a certain way. And that is usually more masculine energy driven. It's action driven, right? It's getting things done driven. So if I surrender more to myself and being more loving and more nurturing and more caring and more fun and more playful, right? Like that little girl, that you talked about, like, how can I bring her more often into my relationship? Can I bring a little more playfulness, a little bit more fun,
Mhm.
and and really enjoy each other a little more? Like my husband, he's older than me, and I remember in the beginning, I was very much on that playful self, right? That was like that was very alive in me, but I became very serious because I was around him. So I changed that. And then a few years later, I'm like, I need to reclaim what I'm shutting down all these years. And I started to reconnect to myself more. And now, like, he is more fun now because he's like, okay, what can I do? I'm gonna go dance with you. I'm gonna, like we how can I say, we motivate each other. We inspire each other to be better. But we need to start with ourselves. And again, approaching relationship with love right? Instead of a business. Oh, this has to be like this. I want him to act like this. I have a sister-in-law. She's my husband's sister, and I mean, she dresses up, she gets ready, like she's always like impeccable, right? But her energy is extremely masculine. She runs everything and everyone, and then she complains, I'm gonna say, about her husband that he's not masculine, and then she's talking to me, and I'm like, you don't treat him like a man. How do you expect him to act like a man? Because this man is almost like her servant, and that's not what she wants. But that's what she demands from him because she wants him to do everything for her when she wants it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And
It
then
does.
Stark tells her, he's like, Nelly, I wouldn't be able to be married to you for a day. Because one day she told him, she said, I want a man like you. And he said, I wouldn't be able to be with you. I can't because you want to control everything.
Oh my gosh, that was a perfect example. I love that, and, thank you for sharing that. It's really I think that's a lot of people are light bulbs are going off there. And I love what you said, enjoy each other, and, also is the idea of having energy, being as feminine is being loving and nurturing and fun and playful,
Mhm.
and that is so interesting because today in dating, so many times it's this I've had guests on the show, we've talked about this, it's all about due diligence and finding out about the person, and the first date should be an interview, and we have to check them out and make sure there are no red flags, and so when you said, like, stop treating, a relationship or dating like a business, that's what I was thinking is it's like, "Okay, you've gotta check them out, or do they have all the criteria? I have my list. This is he's not oh, he's not that, so skip it. That's a deal breaker." How is that working with divine feminine energy, and are we killing our options when we're doing that?
You are because you're using your brain. You're using your logical mind, and that is
Sad.
masculine. You're not using your feelings. You're not using your intuition. You're not using your emotions, which those are feminine, right? So Sergio and I, when we started, I mean, I lived in Brazil. He lived here, and when we met, and he tried to take me out, I'm like, but I don't live here. I live far away. And he said, this is what he told me. He said, I live the moment, and next is God's choice. That's what he said. And I was like, oh, okay. So I can enjoy now, and we'll see what happens. But I was in my mind too. I was in my head. But anyway, so we started dating, and now I'm there and he's here. Every 2 weeks we would travel, and we would just enjoy each other to the point that one time I came, and then immigration was kind of tough on me. I had to go back after a month. And he said, let's get married. That's how we got married. And when I met him, he was just coming out of a divorce. And he said, I would never marry in my life again. I said, okay. But every day we're just enjoying the moment. We're enjoying everything that we're doing. It's up to today. Like even like a couple of days ago, like Valentine's Day, we're like, we're still enjoying this, right? Like, yeah, we're enjoying it. Yeah, let's keep doing it. And it has been 18 years, right? But it's because we live, it's the moment, it's day to day. It's not looking to, okay, I need to have all this in place and this person needs to be this way or this way. And I never made a list. I mean, I was younger too, and I never made a list. He had made a list. When he separated, he made a list. My next relationship is going to be with someone who boom, 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 boom. And then later he came and said, okay, I need to show you this because I wrote down everything that you are, but I just showed up. But in that moment, also, he was being guided by how he was feeling, not really that I was checking all the boxes, right? I think you can make a list, manifest it, put it out in the universe, but also, do you need to be that hard on yourself? Like some people have 3 pages of lists. I've had people that came and show me their list, and I'm like, this is like an impossible mission to find someone who fits all of them. I mean, maybe, but if that person doesn't check one or two, now you don't want that person anymore. It doesn't make any sense. What if you're enjoying it?
Mm.
Having fun? What if you love doing things together? What if just, I don't know, just go to the movies or having a meal or you have things in common? I don't know, just being open, right? To life and enjoyment without taking it so so serious.
So serious. Okay, so that I think that I can see that, the value in that, and I think perhaps there's still some criteria we can have, but I can see the difference you said between it's the intuition versus our minds and what and analyzing and assessing. Because when we're going through it and we're taking it like we have the list or we have an idea or we're doing due diligence in the first, date or on a phone call and checking the boxes, and it feels very structured. It feels very, just yeah, it feels very just it doesn't feel flowy. It doesn't feel like it's fun. It's kind of this like just okay, let me see. And so you how many kids do you have? And you kind of got the no, 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 and so you like to do what? And and what was your last relationship like? Okay, and it's like, oh, okay, well that's pretty good. It ends up
Yeah.
being very sterile and not very there's a hard to build attraction there and feel good about someone that maybe we might miss an opportunity because of that, right?
100%. Because I'll give you an example. I worked with a woman that she came to me for help and she was trying to date and she had this guy and she said, well, but he, I mean, I don't remember even what it was, but he's not checking all the boxes on my list. And I'm like, okay, but how was it when you were with him? Oh my God, it was wonderful. And then she said, I mean, we didn't have sex. And I said, okay, but did you enjoy? She said, I enjoyed so much. I even had an orgasm. And I'm like, you're ignoring all that. Right? Like your body obviously enjoyed it. Like you emotionally, you're enjoying it. But now you're going to your head and you're going like, okay, but he's not as tall as I would like him to be. He's older than I would like him to be. And then you're like, maybe taking away that opportunity of having a really amazing relationship, even if it's just for a period of a time, all right? Doesn't have to be forever, but you're missing out on something that you can have just because you're going to your head and you're just not considering that person because of those reasons.
Boy, I'm so glad you said that because it makes me think. I know when I met my late husband 20 years ago, I was I didn't know what a list was. I wasn't making a list and I wasn't even thinking about dating anyone at the time, but I knew who he was and we met and he asked me out. And it was like if I would have run him through my criteria that I've had or people we have today, the way we do this, I would have said
Yeah.
hell no to him. I would have been like, no way. He was older than I thought he would be, than I would have expected. Lots of different things, but there were a lot of good things about him too. But there were because I didn't have such a strict criteria or such an awareness or such a well, like, I don't
You're
explain.
open.
Yeah, I was open. I was just like, "Well, okay. Yeah." And it exactly, and it just I would have missed the opportunity of that yeah, it's just he was the greatest thing in my life at the time, it was, like, for 20 years. So, yeah, I think, or 14, I mean, not 20 years ago, but 14 since he died 7 years ago, but yeah, that's really amazing. I love that, and, so maybe there's some kind of a balance where we have some guide because I think in midlife, we're still also being like, we wanna be somewhat cautious. We need to be careful, maybe having a few things that we know are just deal breakers, not like how tall he is or, whatever, but it's also having a few things that just are a no for us. It could be that he doesn't use drugs or he doesn't smoke
Right.
or that he's spiritual or has a certain religious belief. I think those are some things that can be important, but not, but not every the three-page list perhaps. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think you can have priorities, right? Things that you might not want to negotiate, maybe some values, right? Or some character traits, right? If he's, I don't know, if he's honest or uh, if he has good values, or like you said, yes, he doesn't do drugs, or he treats me right, right? He's not aggressive physically, like all those things you can have. I think standards are always good to have and have an idea of the things that, yeah, that you want. But also there are things that we don't need to be so caught up on. Like you said, same thing with me when I met Sergio, we live in two different countries. So for me, like I said in the beginning, until he said that, I was like, okay. And you know what's funny? About a month later, we were together. He came and he went to Brazil. He met my family. When he came back, he was so scared that he wrote me an email and he said, I don't think we should see each other anymore. I'm not ready to take this relationship serious, blah, blah, blah. And then I wrote back to him. I said, I thought we were just enjoying the moment. You told me this. And then he was like, oh, shoot, you're right. Like, let's just, we'll see where it goes. I mean, I I've had people come in, oh my gosh, I'm gonna break up with him because he's older than me. He's gonna die before me, and I can have that. And I'm like, how do you even know if he's gonna die before you? You can go out and something happens and you die before him. But people put rules, and I think when we drop the rules, we can have more fun.
Drop the rules and you can have more fun. I love that so much. Yeah, I mean, I think, having lost my husband, I would say I would rather have had those 14 years than never to have had them at all. So I think a lot of people we can look at it in a different way is nothing's forever. And would you rather experience something that could be one of the greatest experiences of your life, but maybe for a certain time period versus never at all? That's just a
Yeah.
choice. And, and I think that's a real different way to look at it. So, right, thanks for that perspective. I want to go into a little bit too about more about your program and what you do, because I think it's so important that women can see that for themselves what is it that like applying principles like into our daily routines for feminine energy. We talked a little bit about that and is what we can do for self-care, but what are some things that you teach in your program, and how do women what do women come out with this? What is it that they go in wanting, and what do they come out with getting?
That's a great question. It's actually different for different people. And that's the beauty about this, because what I do in the program, I create a space, and the community is just incredible. But I create that space where they feel that they are safe to be vulnerable and to express and to just be themselves. So they find more that authenticity. I expose them to the power of their own masculine energy, to their warrior energy, and then to their goddess energy, and how, like we talked at the beginning, how do I merge them in seamless move right from one to the other, or I can incorporate both of them. Can I get things done in a way that feels good? Can I get things done and still be loving? Can I be a leader and still be very loving and caring towards my people? Right.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what it is. And women who come to my events, there are a few different types. Well, one of them, very high achievers, successful women who have built their careers, but they have hard time having a relationship, right? Either attracting or keeping the relationship they're in because that lack of polarity. So they want that. They want to learn to do that. The other type of women who come to my events usually are mothers that they take care of the house, they take care of the kids, they homeschool the children, even some of them, they have their husbands, but they forget about themselves, right? Because again, they put everyone else's needs ahead of their own, and they kind of like stay in the back and they don't do anything for themselves. And that brings them that sense of self aliveness. And again, that juice of life comes back to them. So it's really beautiful. And then we have the kind of like a mix of both of them, women that are very successful and they also have their children, they also have their, and they are so overwhelmed, and they need to learn to reconnect to themselves so they can show up better to all these different areas of their lives. So
Okay. Yeah.
that's kind of how it is. So
I love
everyone
that.
can
I
out
watched your
there.
video, and we'll put the link in there so people can watch the video about what it's about in October. I mean, April rather, coming up in April in Orlando. And so, yeah, one thing really hit me because a lot of the women watching my channel are in midlife, and their kids are either getting ready to leave from home, maybe they're in transition, and there's this moment of like reinvention right now, and it's kind of saying, I want to do something different, or I feel like it's too late for me, or I um I I I just am not satisfied with what my life's about. Maybe it's just this is it. This is all there is. And so with with that said, is how do we really when we're going into feminine energy, again, going back to that need for control. So we're doing this, I've got to control everything so I feel stable, but they're feeling like there's no flow, there's no play, there's no enjoyment in that. Is it okay to feel safe? And how can a woman who's dealing with change reinvent herself and still have this great bit of prosperity and newfound freedom within the current situation she's in?
Yeah, I think it's never late, as long as we do something. Like it's never late. Like I've had women in their 60s and 70s coming to my events, and I have women in their 30s or 20s even that come. So it's never late because there's always something. There's always something you can learn. One of the ladies who came to a couple of my events, she unfortunately she was abused when she was a child by her own father, right, for a few years when she was 4 years old. And since then, she cannot have a relationship with a man. She's a lesbian because she just can't really even look at a man's eyes. And we did some things, and um, we actually did a really beautiful integration of the warrior energy with martial arts. And I brought one of her masters, and he's wonderful. And she she said for the first time she was able to look at a man's eyes because she broke the board. He's holding it there for her. She went through it, and she said that for the first time she felt safe to do that. She felt safe to look at a man's eyes, and then later. her freedom show up even later when she went to express her own femininity because she was feeling extremely safe in her own body, something that she hasn't felt in a while because of what happened to her in the past. Right. So it's a reclamation of your own freedom and of your own essence. And to the point that she was even questioning, am I really a lesbian? Because now I don't know. Because she maybe went on that route as a defense mechanism, right? I'm not saying she did, but it could have been because she didn't feel safe around a man. And it's so interesting how we make choices in our lives, right, based on the things that happen to us. But if we can heal from them, right, and find that beauty and that freedom on the other side, that's when we're really happy and fulfilled. That's what I believe.
Well, I think that's such a great, interesting point. So there's really in seeking out a way to really have to get into our feminine energy and to find freedom in that. There's healing in it too. It's not just a way to get what we want. It's not a manipulative tactic. It's not a way to um, just to feel better, and okay and satisfied with ourselves. I think it's this healing deep down that you're saying that you really achieve in your program and working with women in this space. That's just incredible. I
Yeah.
love.
And I remember she said that her whole life, her warrior energy was always showing up as a fighter. And in that moment, it showed up more as a strength, right?
Mm.
Not so much to fight, but really to, she said, with fortitude. That's what she said. And it's beautiful because it showed up differently for her because she was also now connecting to her own feminine energy and bringing them together. It just shows up different.
I love that, and I'm thinking of women then as they start to go from that to discovering their feminine energy and living in that is this feeling of being taken advantage of. As you said, the thing before about being submissive is that toxic feminine is how is it possible to fully open up our hearts and be in our feminine and feel safe and also not feel like we're being taken advantage of or that people would be pushovers. I
Mhm.
think that's a big one is that people are going to take advantage and feel like we're pushover, that we're meek, that we're not going to be strong enough. Men are not going to take us seriously in other parts of life, not just dating, but in any area, right? So it's like, oh, she's an easy one to kind of take advantage of, or just subconsciously that happens. I think there's a lot of fear in that. Is that if I get into my feminine too much, I'm going to be um, uh, unseen.
Mhm. Yeah, there is that fear, but that's why it's important for you to connect to those two energies and bring them together. So I'll give you a quick example. Sergio and I, when we started dating, like I said, he was coming out of a divorce, had 4 kids, so, and then financially it was very hard for him. And then every time that we had an argument, he would tell me, you just leave, just get out of here. Like he would just, you know, send me away. Like then I remember one time, I'm like, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be with someone keeps telling me to leave all the time. So I went to him and I mean, I could have argued back, I could have fought it, but I went to him with love, but also with strength, right? And I told him, I said, baby, I love you so much, but if you tell me to leave again, I will, and I'm never coming back. And I meant it. And he even tells the story. He said, in that moment, I was like, hey, she's serious. I don't want to lose her. And then from that after that, he said, okay, I'm going to find help. And he started going to a counselor because he was like, I can't lose you for that, just because of that. But he was so afraid. He had all, the things with the divorce and all that. Anyway, he had his own challenges, but I also need to stand up for myself, right? But can I do it with love? And that's what I did, right? I don't know. Somehow that just came to me because
That's a beautiful story because that's what I'm saying is like being feminine is not submissive. It's not being a pushover. It's not being someone who is just quiet in the corner and being sweet and accepting of everything. Because you have this the divine feminine, the divine warrior. So it's like that word warrior in feminine is showing a beautiful, I wouldn't say contrast, but that's kind of sounds counterintuitive to what a lot of people think of feminine energy as.
yes. And it's important to have that connection. It's so important because that is that fierceness, right? It's almost like that mama bear energy. Yes, I am very loving, but you mess with my babies, I'm gonna freaking kill you. I mean, we all have that, and that's the feminine. It's not just being soft and sweet and It's not just that, it's so colorful. It's like a whole rainbow of colors or more, right? There's so many different colors.
Ah, that
Right?
sounds amazing. And so then with that said is how do we cultivate relationships either we're already in or finding new ones that honor and respect this and reflect our newly awakened divine feminine energy, especially in environments that may not initially support that.
Well, I think we all, as women, we need to do some kind of work consistently to reclaim that because we don't really know how to do it. Like when I started my own journey, that was the reason I decided to
Yeah, I
start.
want to talk about your journey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason I once I found it, I was like, oh my goodness, like everyone needs to have access to this because it feels freaking amazing. It just feels so, I mean, it feels incredible. So how do I help other people to reach that as well? Right. And that was even like the reason I started teaching martial arts too, because I felt incredible doing that. So anytime that I find something that it moves me and it changed me, I want to extend that to other people. Right. So that's how that came about for me to start teaching this. But it's really about, yeah, you reclaim all parts of you, but you have to do it consistent. It's not something, it's like Tony Robbins says, you cannot go to the gym one day and now you're fit for life. It doesn't work like that. Everything you do needs to be consistent. And immersions, and he also talks a lot about that. You do an immersion or you do something every single day, right? So that's why when I do these retreats and these events, those are the immersions. We'll give you so many tools. And now you can continue to cultivate that on your own because it's not, I cannot just tell you one thing for you to do. If I could, I would say, okay, slow down. Yeah, but I have stuff to do. So there, you need a little bit more context, right? Around
Mm,
that we do. So it's not a whole lot of work, but you have to be very conscious and very aware.
okay. Okay.
Very much.
So it's all about immersion and it's about consistency. And then you said daily practice. Finally, as we finish up here, what is for someone just beginning this journey? What is a habit or a practice that you would recommend for someone, a woman, to consistently nurture and grow their feminine energy?
Coming back to the body, I think that would be the first step. Uh, moving, even like music, moving your body, touching, feeling. Like, let's say you take a shower. I love playing music when I'm in the shower.
Mhm.
It really taking my time, washing my body. I feel like I connect to it. I I give a little love, even to the point that I created a product that is an intimate anti-aging product for your intimate parts because I'm like, women, we just go and wash it and we leave and we don't pay attention to it. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a moment to give some love to my body and to my feminine part. And then I created this beautiful oil. I use it as a cleanser. I use it as a moisturizer also because then now you're actually putting a little bit of love and attention to your portal right there, right? So it's
That's awesome. I love that. Oh, I'm all about that stuff. That's awesome.
yeah.
Wow,
So
we'll
I
have to
think
get that information to everyone too.
I'll send you one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's lovely. So you really, I would say, start connecting to your physical body. Like awaken your senses. Maybe it's slowing down when you're eating a meal, light up a candle, wear cologne, wear some like notice like, I don't know, the smell of your hair, the taste, like really taste things or wear something that feels good. Like I love wearing silk. I love wearing like this is just cozy, and noticing how it feels on your body. I think all that helps you to start connecting to your physical body and heal a little bit of that relationship with the body because our relationship with our bodies are kind of dysfunctional.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
grace. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of times we just take it for granted. It's like, okay, I've got to go to the gym. It's like the tasks. It's like getting the task, the to-do list done, getting things that we think we need to do versus that, oh, this is, I love what Reverend Michael Beckwith says from Agape Center. He says he calls this the body temple.
Mm,
And it's like, that really is special. That elevates it to something I have to treasure. And
mhm,
in order to do the things that I wanna do, in order to be my best, to be here today with you, to have a sound mind, to have a clear head, to have an open heart, my body temple has to feel good and has to be optimized for performance, and it's not about performance, it's more about being connected as a whole with the other parts, with my mind, with my heart, with my soul, with other people, it's this is such a big thing to really consider, and I've been doing that a lot in the past couple of years. I really like that is just tapping in, remembering, asking myself, "What do you need?"
mhm.
Um, noticing the enjoyment, like, when I eat, sometimes I'll do something else at the same time. I'm like, I love feeling multi-sensory experiences. So it
Mhm.
might be music and eating, and I know it's people say do one thing, but it's I like to eat very slowly. I will eat things that take an hour to eat sometimes, and I'll just pick at it slowly because I want to enjoy it versus like, a hamburger and
Versus
it's
food,
gone in
yeah.
5 bites. It's like, I don't wanna eat stuff like that. That's not why I'm there. I'm seeing it as pleasure every time I eat something.
Mhm.
I sip on my cappuccino here or, just whatever it is, and I'm known for Jill bites. My friends tell me that because I will take the smallest bite out of I actually got the URL. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but and I'll just take a tiny little bite of something, and I'll say, it has the same amount of taste as if you take a big old chunk out of it, and then you get to savor it a lot longer.
Mhm.
And it's just wonderful because I'm like, I want it to last. And, so I think
Oh, yeah.
those are great hacks. Those are great hacks.
And for those people who like making lists,
Yes,
well,
tell us.
make a list of things that you can do physically, like for your body. Like, what can you do? Like, what does your body need? For me, yeah, the proper nutrition. Like, I stopped sugar 4 years ago, and I feel incredible. Carbs also very, very low. Uh, Hydration, right? Drinking water,
Mhm.
hygiene, taking care, like taking, of course, taking a shower, putting lotion, having sex. Why not? Right? Like that's a physical need. Exercising, like maybe make a little list of like, am I doing all this? I don't know. And maybe choose something that you want to add to it. Maybe I won't drink alcohol. Maybe during the week, for example. That's something that I don't drink alcohol, but
I don't either, yeah.
we did a retreat in Sedona back in October, and many of the girls committed not to drink alcohol anymore. And it was beautiful. Then we have, we're all connected in the group. How are you all doing? Are we still hanging out? Like it was so cute. But you start with the body. And then I always follow the order of creation. If you think how you were created as a human, right? Your body came first. You have your little, the spinal cord, it's right there. And then your heart start beating second. And then your heart was beating before your brain was created, right? And then the soul comes to the body. I understand from my belief that the soul sends a vibration already to the egg and to the sperm, and then they come together. But the soul actually comes to the body usually a little bit later, right?
Mhm.
You're anyway. So sometimes what happens is that people go like, "Oh, I need to be spiritual. I need to connect," and they forget all about the other steps, right? Yes, you're spiritual, but you're not taking care of your physical body. You live in this planet. You need your body to be healthy, right? So what can you do for the body? How about emotions? That would be the second thing. How do you manage your emotions? How do you, right? You allow your emotions to flow and you allow yourself to feel and you allow them to move, right? Because emotion is just energy in motion.
Yeah.
And energy always changes, right? You can be feeling a certain way. That's when now the brain comes in because you can feel a certain way and then you give a meaning to what you're feeling. Now you can feel something for 2, 3 hours when actually you should have less just a minute or two. If you think, oh, primal instinct, primal emotion, something happened, you felt that anger or you felt sad, unless you keep giving a meaning to it and you keep thinking about it, that should just dissipate. But it doesn't because as humans, we attach a meaning to our
I'm
emotion.
meaning to our
You
thoughts. Yeah,
say,
thoughts. Yeah,
right. If you say
feelings.
something to me, he can go like, oh my goodness, she's so rude. Why does she always? And now I start to grow that theory, right? When it was just supposed to be a quick emotion come and go. But we don't.
Yes, and
And
a
the
thought
thoughts,
and a thought long enough becomes a belief.
oh, 100%. But then now, if you can change that response, right? And you can go, okay, but maybe that's not what she meant. Maybe she meant something else. And you don't assume. Like I was playing tennis one day and I have this partner, they always mix people. And I'm playing tennis with this guy. And one moment I don't know, I hit the ball and he did it and we lost the point. And he went like this, never throw the ball to the person on the net. And I was like, gee, like I just met him and now he's like yelling at me. But I also have this thing. I'm not going to assume, I'm going to ask. So I went to him and I said, what did you mean when you said that? He's like, yeah, I was talking to myself. He said, I just threw the ball to the person on the net and I need to remember how to do that. And I thought he was talking to me. Right. So now, if I was like, okay, he talked to me and he was rude, it was going to ruin my game and ruin my relationship with him that I just met. But just clarifying that, I was like, oh, nothing to do with me. He was talking to himself.
That's amazing. That's great clarity. It's always good to get clarification. And I love what you said earlier too when you're going into that about the to-dos, like creating a list, and it made me think of a menu. So, like, if we can create this, like, little list of things that we love, it's like, okay, so hot bath, massage, self-touch, eating slowly, eat a meal, like, creating things that we know we love, and then saying, "Okay, what do I feel like right now?" And then can you look at the menu and kinda decide, and
Yeah.
and
That
what I or even what I need, and so I had this little epiphany, I'm gonna tell on myself, but I'm notorious about waiting to get in the shower in the morning, and sometimes it's like, "Okay, you've gotta get in the shower, you've got a call in a minute, you're gonna be on Zoom." And if I have days that there's nobody around, I'm like, "Oh, well, I didn't get around to it today." And then even if I'm, like, rushing, I'll say, "Well, I'm just gonna be on Zoom, I don't have to shave, I don't have to do all that other stuff, I'm just gonna do a quick shower." And the other day, I was showering, and I thought, "Gosh, I haven't shaved in a while," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not doing anything today." And I went, "No, no, do it for you."
Mhm.
And I did what I call my body detail, where I scrub my body, and I do the scrub on my face and
Oh,
the mask, and it takes, like, 15 minutes or 20 minutes longer in the shower, and I'm just, like, in it. But I'm usually doing it because I'm thinking I'm going somewhere, I'm gonna be at, beach, whatever it is, right? And so I have this, like, thing, and I'm like, "Do it for you." And you know what? I felt so amazing that day because I was like, I felt my best. I didn't, as I would say, half-ass it. I didn't half-ass it that morning, kind of the short version, because I showed up for me. And that was so cool. So that feminine energy, I felt so good. I felt very feminine in taking care of myself. And I think that's where we started, is the reality is we're not doing this in order to meet the needs of other people. But in order to be feminine, we really have to start. It's an inside job, isn't it?
it is. And also, can you imagine if you use that discipline? Let's say discipline is masculine, right? That focus to actually, if you use your masculine energy to grow your feminine energy,
Oh,
about that. Because it's, if we just wait and see when we feel like it, okay, yeah, that could be feminine, but we have the masculine that can also help us to be guided to stick to it. Does that make sense? Like
yes,
use
it's a perfect balance. I think that was a perfect
yeah.
example of the feminine masculine balance that was
Yes.
utilized in my life, and you just showed me, is that that wasn't all feminine, because feminine to me would be sitting there going like, "I'm just gonna hang out and just chill and wait till something comes to my way, and I just don't feel like doing anything. I'm just gonna feel my way through it." And I've done that now, honestly, not in the past year, but before that, I think since we, did Tony Robbins in 2018 and then signed up for everything. And then I was the go, 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 do, do, do. And then I'm like, okay, I'm tired. This was really rough. And it was masculine energy all the way, control, discipline, steps, or like routines and I was just burnt out of that. And then I discovered this thing about feminine energy and I went, oh, and then I went the other way. And then it was like,
Like,
I have no to-do list don't matter. If it's supposed to be done, it's gonna get done, and I've lived my whole life with structure, it's like, to-do lists and I live off of spreadsheets, it's like, and now I'm like, I can't even do any of that. And it's coming back to this, okay, flow, and you gotta do stuff. It's like you gotta use the discipline on the
yes.
other side too. I love that balance you showed. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Because then I mean then you can have the harmony. Because then you're on purpose doing something that is gonna feel right to you. Because
Mm,
if I just go, oh, I'm just gonna listen to my body, I'm gonna, I don't know, sit down on the couch, watch a movie, and just eat ice cream. I mean, that's what I want to do, right? But
mm.
no, I need to have. I mean, my warrior needs to show up and go like, "Come on, we gotta go to the gym, or we have to eat healthy today." Like you need that.
Thank you for clarifying. Woo! I mean, there are so many more things we could talk about.
I know.
Before we, because I know people are having questions. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We'll answer them for you. And find Barbara in the social media links that we've given you. You're going to love chatting with her, and definitely check out her program. We'll have all this in the show notes. But Barbara, is there anything else that we need to touch on or that you feel led to share before we wrap up today?
All right, well, that's it. I think it's just really putting yourselves first, so we can show up better for others, for the ones that we love, especially.
Mm.
Um,
That's right,
Getting
and
that
that's so
love into
good.
ourselves.
Okay. Being loving for ourselves, and it's not about helping others first and really putting ourselves first, and we're not avoiding or not being selfish by doing that. It's actually giving us more of the ability to share and to love more
Because
and
we
to
can only give what we have, right?
boy, that pouring from an empty cup, I've been accused of that in the past, and, it's gotta be full for us to help others.
Yeah. And the cup needs to expand too.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Right?
Well, Barbara, thank you so much for being here today. It was such a pleasure having you, and, everyone, please give us a like and a share and subscribe if you would, please. It really helps grow our channel, and we want you to be a part of the community, so definitely do that. We're so happy you're here today. Thank you again, Barbara.
Thank
We'll talk
you.
to you real soon, and have a great day, everyone. Stay connected.
Bye.
Bye.